Hello everybody, just getting everything all finalized for today's live, trying to get all of my cables ready to go. Yeah, all the cables behind the scenes when it comes to a Facebook Live, so many of them. Actually not that many, like 3 or 4, but still. When you're trying to keep your space on your crafts desk, whoop, sorry about that, and also trying not to put too much shaking on everything. All right, let's see where we at. I'm gonna open up the iPad. Make sure sound is off. I forgot that. I was listening to movies while crafting the other day, so all my sound is on. We're also gonna pull back our lights just a little bit. And let me see. Do I have a gel pen? Nope, we gotta grab one of those. All right, we are good to go. That is what I forgot. That is not that big of a deal. All right, let's see if we can. Perfect. All right, same drill as usual. If you are dropping by, I would love if you could drop by and make a comment just to say hello, so I know that you are here. And we will get into crafting very momentarily, if that's a word or a phrase it is now. Let's do a little bit of talking. So this is our first Facebook Live since the holidays, our very first Facebook Live of 2025. So even though I am 15 days late to the game, let me wish you all a very happy new year. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. I do want to say, and I'm hoping everybody's okay, but those of us who are in the California area, specifically in the Los Angeles area, hope that everybody is staying safe with the fires. Just making sure everyone is taking care of themselves, and an interesting start to the year. But aside from that, talk a little bit about what is going on with our crafting today. Hopefully a little bit of midweek crafting distraction will be helpful. I am going to be using the Golden Age stamp set today. I do not think that I've ever used this set in a Facebook Live before. I know that I have crafted with it before. I just don't think I've actually used it too much. This set is from 2019, I think, if I'm not mistaken, early 2019. So it's hard to think about the fact that this set is essentially 6 years old at this point, which is wild to me. So we're going to use everyone's favorite comedian, and we're going to color her up with some Copic markers. And I've come up with kind of a simple design with using some pattern paper and using some die cuts, and we are going to use just a couple different little embellishments as well that I'm going to get into in a little bit. So let's get into a little bit of coloring. I haven't done that much Copic marker coloring in the new year, especially with humans, so I feel like I'm a little rusty. So bear with me for that. I'm going to go in, and we're going to use E04. We're going to go right up against her hairline. Now, I didn't realize this when I selected the image, because this is something sometimes I mentally put a block selecting images that have patterns on them. And she's got a lot of little polka dots, and she's got little lips, and I'm going to try and do my best to make sure that she's colored up, and we try our best to make sure that all of the areas look decently colored. Because I know when there's little details, they can be a little bit more difficult. So we're just going to go in, add some E04. All right, just like that. And we'll do a little bit around her earring and her hair down here. Perfect. I'm going to take a little bit of a water break. Actually, I'm going to put a cough drop in just because I think that would help me tonight. All right. Next, we're going to go in with some E11. And we're going to add this right next to the EO4. Just kind of going in with the E11. Just like that. And then up her arm, through her neck, down the right arm. And just kind of carry that out. Okay. Next, we're going to do some E21. Just kind of keep on carrying that skin tone out. Bring out her face. I might have to do a little bit more with the nose to give it a better shadow. Her arms, her legs. And then let's go with some E00. And finish off with some E000. We can probably zoom in a little bit too. Let's see if we can do that. Zooming in is not that easy. There we go, just a little bit. I always get a little bit of anxiety with zooming in because sometimes I can get the zoom in going, but then not the zoom out. So that's frustrating. So we've got her skin going. I'm interested to get into her hair because I've got a couple kind of thoughts of what I want to do. Because her hair kind of has some different textures, but we'll talk more about that when we get to it. So right now I'm going in and I'm coloring up her skin again, repeating the same palette of colors. And this is just going to really help blend the colors, but also saturate the inks as well. And we're going to go in with some E21. Now I did check, this set is currently in stock on the website. If you guys have done a Facebook Live with me before, you know that I really try my absolute best to make sure every product that I'm using is something that is currently available for you to purchase. So this Golden Age stamp set, if you have not snagged it yet, it is currently showing in stock on the website. All right, let's go with some E00. Yeah, sounds like a package got delivered. Which I don't know what it would be. I haven't ordered anything. This is one of those rare times that orders that I have placed, I don't really have anything coming my way. It's like the first time since the holidays that I'm like free and clear from something being delivered. All right, let's go in and do a little bit of blush. We're going to add some R22. Just make her cheeks a little on the rosier side. All right. I also thought it would be fun to do kind of a Valentine's Day themed card because it fits with the card swap. If you guys haven't signed up yet, I know Heather had posted about a card or Valentine's card swap. I have signed up. I do not think that I will be using this card for part of it, but hey, you never know. You never know what you're going to get. But I do have myself all signed up, and I've got to start working on what I'm going to submit for my card swap partner once they're assigned. I have to make sure though, because I know that there's like a deadline of February 8th, it's got to be in the mail. I'm going to be on vacation, so I've got to make sure that I get it out beforehand, which is not a problem. Just something to work towards. Excited to get out of town. Me and my husband usually try to always do a vacation within the first 2 months of the year. Last year we kind of went big and we went to France and Belgium and the Netherlands for a little European vacation. We did that in early February. The year before that we went to London and Bristol in the UK, so that was fun as well. This year we're going to Disney World. So I am very excited to head that way for a week. All right. Her skin tone is all colored up. So let's now move on to, what are we going to do? Probably her hair. It's going to take the longest. So for her hair, she's got 2 different types of textures going on. And this is what I think that I want to do. She's got like a straight pulled back hair on the sides. We're just going to do a standard pulled backness with it. And then I think what I'm going to do for the poofy bits, we are going to keep those just kind of like standard block of hair coloring. I don't know how much texture I'm going to add to that, but let's see. So we're going to go in with some E18. Just like this. And kind of frame it out a little bit. Just like that. And then let's see. Yeah, we're just going to go in with this. We're going to kind of just treat this like normal Copic marker coloring. Just kind of wherever there would be shadow. Keep it nice and poofy. Get some texture over there. Just like that. And then we're also going to, this little hair poof that's behind her, we're gonna do some shadow work over there. Just like that. All right, we're getting there. That's a good start. Looks a little wackadoo right now, but we're getting there. Excuse me. All right, next we're gonna go in with some YR27. And I'm just gonna continue to bring that color out. It's going to look pretty brown to start with, but we're going to go in. It's going to get orangey, I promise. She's going to look like the redhead that we all know and love. All right, so let's go in. Go in with this. Awesome. All right, next color. Let me just make sure I'm not missing any comments. I think we're good. Yeah, no comments yet. That's okay. You know what, y'all? I came home and took a nap today. And I set like multiple alarms just to make sure that I was up in enough time to do our Facebook Live. I didn't miss anything. Also, I'm going with YR28. So if y'all need a quiet night of just watching and not typing, just listen to me talk. It's totally fine. I get it. You can start to see some of that orangeness come through because the markers are getting less earth tone and more orangey. Now you could add some curly texture to the top of her hair. I'm just opting not to. I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, I feel like this just made sense to me. And sometimes I do this with hair. Every once in a while, there will be a character that comes along, and I just don't add a lot of texture to it. I don't think that it's really necessary. I almost feel like not adding texture is going to look better than me attempting to add texture. And that was YR16, and we're going to finish off with YR65. And then, of course, we're going to color twice, so I've got to go in and get everything all doctored up again. What are they? Okay. I feel like a lot of my markers are in need of a spa day very soon. I already have one, potentially two, that are just going to have to get replaced. It happens, unfortunately. All right, there we go. Because the way that her hair texture is, I'm going to need to do 2 different methods of the second round of coloring. So let's just do the non-textured areas first. We're going to do these from dark to light. So just literally repeating what we just did. Just like that. And then YR27. I actually really enjoy YR27 as a color. It used to be my go-to for gold, YR27 and YR24. And it's definitely more on like the antique gold sort of color, or like really like antique yellow gold. But definitely still within that realm. I just think it's a really nice warm tone that kind of teeter-totters between, is it a yellow red? Is it an earth tone? So I really enjoy using that as a color. It's definitely something I would recommend if you haven't added to your stash yet. That would be worth it. Next, we're going to go with some YR18. Go in and keep on with the poofs. YR16. If you all purchased the Nativity play set, and I did the coloring tutorial with that one, that's another stamp set that I really didn't add a lot of texture to hair, because just with the way that the characters are. I mean, those are cartoony characters, so that's a little different than this. But I just didn't feel like it was necessary. Right, so we're going to go in with the YR65. The YR6s are always a very interesting blend of colors to me, because they're supposed to be like the truest of oranges, but I feel like all the colors are a lot lighter than other colors when you're looking at them. Like YR65, you would think that this would be like orange, and it's not. It's pretty light tone. But anyways, all right, let's go in. Let's add the hair a second time. So we're going to go in. We're going to start with some YR16 and just kind of add some more texture to the hair. Just like that. Next is YR18. And just kind of I'm thinking that in 2025, you guys are probably going to see maybe a little less with my Facebook Lives of like full-on Copic marker coloring. I might do like more abbreviated coloring or have some done in advance. I just feel like it takes up such a large chunk of our Facebook Lives, and I'm looking to change it up a little bit. I'm thinking that might be a good way to go. I've been adding to my personal YouTube creation collection. Oh no, got a little bit of orange in here. That's okay, I'll fix it. And I kind of have been appreciating being able to like fast forward through certain things. And I don't know. Sometimes I think coloring just takes up so much of us being together that I don't want the Facebook Live to feel one note. I don't know. Stay tuned. You never know. Just like that. It's a good start. Let's go in with the E000 and just really quickly clean up her ear so we can get that orange out of it. Okay. We just have the rest of her outfit left. Now, I'm going to, for her outfit, I'm going to be very delicate because she's got these polka dots. And I'm already thinking I'm probably going to go in and go over each of the polka dots with a gel pen just to make them pop. But stay tuned, you never know. I'm just really trying to make sure that I don't do too much. All right, so that's B37. Next we're going to go in with some B34. And sometimes when it comes to patterns, it's hard for me to keep the consistency of my blend and while also starting and stopping to not go over the pattern. So I'm just trying to be mindful that I've already gone over at least like 2 or 3 polka dots. So yeah, we're just gonna do some gel pen dots after, and that'll be fine. It'll be a-okay. It'll pop a little bit. All right, B32. I also made the mistake of putting on fleece sleep pants. Just a little on the warm side, just a little bit. All right, let's go back in with B37. Do our second round of coloring. B34. I don't use B3s too much, but I wanted the blues that I was using for her dress to not be like overly vibrant. They have a little bit of like a pastelness, not pastel, but like a almost a vintageness to it. And I felt that this would lend itself well to that because it's definitely a little bit more of a muted blue. Honestly, these spots do not look that bad. For these polka dots, oh, my spots, oh my gosh, she's not a Dalmatian. I don't know, maybe I won't do gel pens. Maybe I'll just leave them as is and go around them. And keep it like that. I don't mind that. All right. Next, we're going to do a little bit to her shoes. We're going to do very little to her shoes. We're just going to do some N5 and little black shoes. One color, not much going on. Perfect. And then we're going to do her apron. And we're also going to do the color of her shirt. And actually for this, I'm going to do an abbreviated coloring. We're going to do C00 first. Just like this. All right. And then C3, we're going to go in with our darkest. Let's see, one. Try not to make it look super great. It will lighten up a little bit though. And I'm just gonna go in with her earrings. Just add a little bit of the C00. I was originally gonna make her earrings red, but I think to keep them white pearl-like is gonna make the most sense. But I am gonna go in with her lips. I'm gonna add just a little bit of R5. Just to kind of add a little bit of color. I think we got it. All right, she's all colored up. So I'm gonna take my markers. I have so many markers. I'm gonna put those away. All right, and then let's fussy cut her out. I think she came together really nicely. And I'm just realizing I didn't grab any foam tape, so I'll have to grab some of that, but that's okay. Listen, y'all, I always forget something, and it's like I thought it was just the gel pen. Sometimes it's a couple things. That's okay. At least it's never anything like egregiously wrong. I say that though, and that's also incorrect because like sometimes I won't grab scissors, and it's like, how are you gonna do this without scissors? Just kind of go in. And like, I love these Spellbinders detail scissors. I love them so, so much. They're by far the most superior detail scissors I've worked with. Now my only slight issue with them, and this does not pertain to a lot of us. My fingers are kind of chunky, you know, like thicker fingers. And I really wish that there were some detail scissors on the market that had the quality of these Spellbinders ones. No, let me rephrase. I wish that they made these Spellbinders ones that had just like larger hole openings for fingers, because I would really appreciate that. I feel like my fingers get just a little distorted. I still use them. I'm not complaining too much. I'm sorry about that. But I do wish that my fingers fit a little bit more comfortably into the holders of the scissors. I don't know, sometimes I think about maybe I just need to start my own craft line for the things that I've found that I love and make those products happen. You never know. I always thought Justin Out Studios has a nice ring to it. Just Justin Out, because if you guys follow me on Instagram, you know it's my Instagram handle. Justin Out by Justin. Alright. I'm getting there. She's almost cut out. Just make sure that there's not that many jagged edges. There's a little bit one with her dress. Other than that, I think we're good. All right, so we've got our little redheaded comedian all colored up. I think that she turned out super, super cute. We're gonna set her off to the side, and I've got an idea for a background. I don't fully know how it's gonna get executed, but we will see. So what I would, do we want to do the background first? Yeah, so let's talk about what we're going to do for our background. So I grabbed the Time for Tea Stamps paper pack, and I wanted to kind of pick a pattern in here that was going to work. And I ended up picking this Hearts and Diamonds pattern, which I didn't anticipate picking. I thought I was going to pick this pattern first. I love this pattern. I thought that there was a chance that maybe it was just a slightly busier than what I was looking for. But I thought this was going to be what made the most sense, because I know that if you know the fandom of this time for tea, playing cards is kind of like a heavy theme throughout it. And I didn't want this background to scream playing cards. Well, for whatever reason, this is like very slightly more muted than the background that shows on the cover. So I was actually quite pleased because of how muted it is, that I thought that this was going to actually work perfectly. And you don't really get immediate playing card vibes from it. So I went ahead, I went into my stash, I grabbed an A2 size stitched rectangle die, and I die cut it out. And I originally had a different idea for my card layout, but I thought it would be fun to just kind of do a stripe across the project and then have our main character like right there. We're going to add some embellishments and a sentiment, of course. And what I ended up doing is I had cut a strip of paper. How long was this? This was a 2-inch wide long strip of paper, and I took that same A2 rectangle die and positioned it that it cut out this shape on an angle, so it fits perfectly to our die cut card piece. I was also thinking of maybe doing some thin strips just to kind of frame this out a little too, but we'll get into that in a second. Okay, so we are going to, actually, I think it might be kind of cool. I've got this sort of like holographic star paper that's in my stash. I think that might look really pretty, but stay tuned. I don't know if I'm not fully committed to it yet. We are going to jump into this first. Yeah, we're going to jump into this first. So we're going to do this background, and I'm just going to do 2 colors of Distress Oxide ink, and we are going to do Tumbled Glass and Broken China. They're really light blues. I didn't want to go that dark because I'm going to end up stamping my sentiment on top of this, and I wanted my sentiment to not have to be heat embossed in a color ink, or not a color. Oh my gosh, that's not what I meant. I didn't want to use a colored embossing powder or anything other than clear because I was afraid that my sentiment was going to lose some of its like distinction if I heat embossed it with a colored embossing powder. So we're going to do clear, and I'm going to stamp it in black, but we're going to get to that shortly. Let me see. Take some Broken China, grab a acrylic block just to kind of hold this off. Don't want a lot of this though. I want more Tumbled Glass than Broken China, but I do want that ombre effect going. All right, just like this. Awesome. So then I'm going to go back in with my Tumbled Glass. I like to use an acrylic block because it protects, oh my God, it protects my fingers from getting sort of any sort of ink on them, but it also protects my paper from my fingers smudging the ink and having to correct it. So, all right, she's gonna have to help me cover that little part up, and that'll be fine. Okay, so let's go in. I'm gonna do a little bit of water splatters, and I've gotta grab my craft towel. So let me set her off to the side. I gotta fill up my distress sprayer. Right, so we're gonna splatter a little bit of water. Let it sit for a minute or 2. I say a minute or 2, I mean like 15 to 20 seconds. My apologies. Now, I haven't seen any comments come by, so I'm going to assume there haven't been any, which is totally okay. If I am mistaken, I do apologize if I've missed any, though. I haven't seen any come across my iPad screen. So we're going to go ahead, put that like that. Let's splatter this a little bit. We're going to splatter after the fact, after I do some heat embossing. Just got a little bit of discoloration on there from my towel that I'm not thrilled about. But we'll go ahead and we'll mask that. Oh, Beth, thank you so much. It is a good day for a soothing video. Just one of those days. I agree. All right, we're going to grab my Misty Precision Glue Press and our card background. Yeah, because I wanted to put it on the card background first so that I can make sure it's all level. have to give my glue press a little bit of a oomph. It's okay. I haven't used it in a day or two. Sometimes this happens. All right. Just going to kind of put the strip nicely into place. Best way that we can. All right. Wonderful. Trying to keep it kind of even. I think we're doing a good job. I'm going to grab my mini Misty. And we're going to grab the Golden Age stamp set. And I'm going to use the sentiment that just says, I love you. And I want to kind of briefly map this out just to make sure that it looks appropriate. Do you really want to do this? Do you want to do it up here, up here? Just going to do it that. Do it like that. Kind of like that. And then I'm going to go in. Is that where I want it? I want it a little bit further down. Maybe I want it more center. So you just kind of fidget around with it a little bit. See, now I can't commit to where I want it. Just like right there. Right like that. But I don't want it to read level rather than on an angle. I think this will work out okay. If not, we can correct it. Okay. Sorry for the commentary. Let me go in. I have some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, which is my go-to for stamping sentiments that I'm going to heat emboss. I'm just realizing I don't know if I fully powdered this area, but that's okay. All right, so it just says, I love you. And then I'm gonna go in, let me grab a piece of cardstock. This is pretty. I like this cardstock. I need to use it sometime. So we're gonna go in. I've got some clear embossing powder. Awesome. And then let me put this back in. Just heat set it. We'll clean it up in a second. There, we've got it. Put my heat gun back. Let's do a little bit of cleanup. All right. Now, I would like to do a little bit of splatter work, not too much, just enough. So I'm just gonna take some scrap paper that one doesn't want to stay put. Just like this and like that. We're gonna take, this is some liquid turquoise blue paper splatter watercolor from Picket Fence Studios. I've been using various colors of this in a lot of my projects lately. A lot of my projects lately. I just can't help myself. I really enjoy using it, and it comes in so many colors. I love it. All right, we're gonna get some watered down. I like to splatter some off first, and then perfect. Do a little bit of cleanup. I swear to gosh, if I went ahead and got some on our girl, I'm gonna be mad I did not. Always protect your images before you do splatter work, because you have no control over where those splatters are going to go, and you do not want to accidentally get some on the image that you took so long to color it up. Okay. Let's see. So she is going to, yeah, she's going to be perfect. She is perfect. Okay. So let's do a little bit of more cleanup. So we are going to go in, and I also took the chocolate box die cuts. This is a new die set. It just came out, I think, last month, maybe the month before. And it's all the little shapes that you can make little chocolate pieces for. This works perfectly for her, if you catch my drift, but what we are specifically going to work with are the heart shapes. So I did go ahead and die cut a handful of these hearts out, and we are going to, I did them from white paper. I would like to just color some of them up. We're not going to do all of them, just some of them. I've got a couple distressings pulled, and we're going to proceed with that. So I am going to use a 5x6 paper inking palette. We're going to go ahead and just arrange some of these on there. Not too many. Just a little. I don't need too many of these. But I thought that this would be fun to make like a customized embellishment. Okay. So let's go in with some lumberjack plaid distress ink. I'm just going to kind of go in and also give it a nice sort of ombre effect. Just like that. And then doing some of these. Awesome. And if you work on one end towards another end, you're going to be able to get that nice sort of transition of color from one to the next. Let's go in with some abandoned coral. This is going to be lighter. We're just going to kind of do the same thing. But it's going to be a lighter red, maybe a little bit more pinky, or even a little bit more salmon in color. Coral and salmon I kind of think are similar in color scheme. Salmon is a little more orange or peachy. All right. There, we've got it. Perfect. I wanted to make sure that there was a nice sort of transition of this color on here, because if we put it on this heart background, I want to make sure that it sort of still pops. And I've also got a handful of white hearts too, so I can utilize the white, I can utilize the red. I mean, if I can get them off this palette, I can utilize them. If not, stay tuned. All right. See, these are the parts of Facebook Live that take too long. Of like Justin fidgeting with his paper inking palette just to get little pieces of paper off of it. Y'all don't need to see that part. That's okay. All right, let me clean this off. Put this away. Let's see. So I think this is dry. So we're gonna go in. Just gonna wipe off the powder. Awesome. All right, now I'm gonna grab, where is that paper? We're gonna trim this down a little bit. No, I don't wanna talk too much about like brands, but recently, I bought a new paper trimmer that hit the market. And I don't want to be difficult, but it is not the tea. It is not one that I love particularly. And I don't think I'm going to be using it too much moving forward. So I'm just back to my guillotine trimmer. So we're going to do 1, 2. Perfect. And 2 silver strips. In really close. That one might be a little too far. I'll figure it out. Well, that'll be fine. This is just going to give a nice little bit of sparkle to our project. Everyone likes a little sparkle. All right, so we're gonna let that sort of dry off, or just rather dry, so I can trim the edges. But I did get these new scissors from scrapbook.com that are very nice. All right. So let's go in, grab some foam strips. Ah, there is my foam tape. I did have it. Okay. Oh. Oopsie. Okay, so let's go in and add some foam tape to our little comedian. It's about good. Let's make sure everything is touching nicely. We're gonna go in. Sorry for being quiet. I always do this with foam tape. I just get like radio silent. Why? I don't know. I think I just focus too much on how small I'm cutting the pieces. We're gonna put her. Is it what we're gonna do? Are we gonna put some hearts behind her first? No, she's okay. So we're gonna put her right there. And then we're gonna go in and we're just gonna kind of add some hearts. I actually think I'm gonna use some foam tape for the hearts. I don't know, I think it might work. Just for some of them, just to give them a little bit of lift. I went out for Italian for lunch yesterday, and there was this song that was playing. Oh my gosh, this is such a random story, so I'm so sorry about this. It was like, in an evening in Roma. That's how it goes. Don't hold me to my singing. I know I'm not good at it, so I apologize. But the song was going on, and I was just sitting at the table, and I was just having flashbacks to going to Italy. Me and my husband went, gosh, I can't believe this was 5 years ago at this point, over 5 years ago for our honeymoon. And then I had actually gone back in 2013 as well with high school, or not high school, with college. So I was just kind of feeling it, and that song has just been stuck in my head, and I've been trying very hard this whole Facebook Live to not accidentally start singing Italian music, which has nothing to do with this project at all, but mind you. But just a little bit about the thoughts that go inside my head. All right, we're getting there, y'all. Thank you, Carrie. Getting this all into place. Just a little heart confetti background of sorts. And then, let's see. Do one more. I don't know. I just think that it's cute to have like these little hearts just popping up from the card. It just adds like a little extra fun element to them that you normally, I don't know, with this layout, I think it needed a little something extra. I wanted to, of course, utilize a new Kindred die set. Always an excuse, you know? Let's see, I might have to color up a couple more. Let's see. Now this is actually pretty darn cute. Okay, we're gonna color up a couple more hearts. I thought I was good, but I think I need to add just a couple more. I know it's off-centered, so let's go in. I'm gonna do, we'll get one more. I think we're just gonna do a couple little ones. All right, going with that lumberjack plaid. One with this abandoned coral, just like that. See, you can make your own embellishments. I think it's super fun. It's not fun sometimes getting them off of these pads, but what do I know? Drop them into place, and then see more right there. Do another one. One last one. We're just going to use residual ink. Just like that. All right. So I really thought it would be fun to highlight with this chocolate box die set that we would be, or chocolate treats, I forget what the exact name is, I apologize for that, to highlight the different shapes that you can utilize to make really fun elements and little embellishment pieces for your projects. I think that this ended up capturing that kind of perfectly. So I'm starting to put a bigger heart down here. I don't know. Maybe I do. Yeah, I think I do. I think that there's just something a little off. So we're gonna go in. And I can trim off the excess. I always fidget with embellishments, y'all. It's just what I do. All right, so then we're gonna go in and get real close and trim it off. Just like that. We're gonna put it on a card base and I'm gonna say we're done. So let's go in, add some liquid glue to an A2 size card base. Da, 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 da. And there you have it. We have a sweet little I Love You Valentine's Day card featuring the adorable redheaded comedian as part of the Golden Age stamp set. Just making sure everything is nicely fit to our card. So just to go over it, we use the Golden Age stamp set. We use the Time for Tea paper pad. We also use the chocolate box die set. I used some clear Kindred stamps embossing powder and did a little bit of ink blending, a little bit of ink splattering, a little bit of die cutting just to get everything nicely into place. And yeah, this came together super cute. I really am a little irritated because now I'm seeing that I didn't put the background on entirely straight. But other than that, I think it turned out really nicely. So I'm going to go in, I'm just going to fix my background with this. And then thank you all so very much for stopping by today. I hope that this gave you some fun inspiration for creating your own Valentine's Day projects. But in addition to that, part of the Kindred Stamps upcoming card swap theme, if it gives you a little bit of inspiration for that as well. Now, don't forget that I will be back next week, Saturday. I forget the date off the top of my head, but it is next week, Saturday, for my next Facebook Live. Join me. We will have lots of fun. If you guys have any suggestions, make sure to comment on this post with something that you think might be fun to do. But otherwise, I will look forward to seeing you guys next time. Have a great night, y'all. Bye-bye.